Probably
see what
actually,
the bid spec
still
was.
in there, isn't it? The bids, all the bids that were posted?
Do they stay up there?
I mean, yes. I mean,
You did website.
with the city website, and they also posted in there?
Yes, but they take it out if it's old.
The reason I asked, I mean, these look more like renewals, not extensions. I mean, just due to the amount. I mean, like number 14, which is another extension, is not to exceed $250,000. You know, that was more of like a contract renewal rather than an extension. And it's asphalt paving.
Sean, any input on that one, or?
As far as the dollar amount, or is it work that needs to be done?
Is it renewal, extension, or is it?
I mean, typically when we see extensions, they're generally a fraction of what the contract was. You know, so the original contract, and you take an extension for a month or two, or whatever the reason is. But these look like they look like contract renewals executed in the form of extensions.
I believe there was a few of them when the purchasing department put these bids out at the very end, if both parties agreed that the contract would be extended for one additional year. It's not for all of them, but it is for some. I'm sure some will come back to that. But I believe because of the information that she's going to look for, Josh from the purchasing department sent me an email stating which ones had to be rebid out and which ones could be extended. But I don't know off the top of my head which ones this is.
Well, I'm sure that she'll find what those answers are then.
Thank you.
Sean,
Yes.
there's several of these items that they all stretch for a year.
Jade?
At this point in this election cycle, I have trouble with making a commitment to for people that are going to be coming in after the next election. All council, the whole shot. Why can't we adjust something like, excuse me, some of these things to go that far and then be extended after the November election?
If that's the way you'd like it, that's fine with me as well. Like I said, keep in mind that what we do is seasonal, so like national work.
I realize that.
Use it until like November, and then we'll pick it up again in April, May, so that we can choose your council.
It's not just this item, there's several of them that right there. I just hate to make a commitment for potentially the other meeting.
These are all at least 9 through 16 or they're all extensions. They appear to be companies that we've historically done with. I mean, the history's there.
These items are the ones that, you know, would historically fall under the $100,000 or, you know, total approved vendors, 100 vendor list, due to the budget. And then everything was kind of pulled in. So concrete cutting, those would typically go out, but I think the list of, you know, vendors that you pull through DPW and purchase of parts and those were in the ones that we did specific budgets on. The vehicle maintenance ones, that's the $100,000 budget for vehicle maintenance. This is actually breaking down to the vendors that we have, over the last 2 to 3 budget cycles, actually spent money on that exceeds $2,000. Those are the ones that have been brought forward, so that we know specifically based on vendor and anticipated dollar amount that we have versus saying, you know, there's 100 vendors on this list. And we may spend, you know, $100,000, but it may not be with, you know, more than one vendor. Because what we wanted to make sure that everyone was aware that if we got a list of 100 and $100,000 and we spend $95,000 with one company, then we should just be bringing that company forward, not hiding, you know, or look like
Mayor,
companies hiding here.
this is the items for 2009 that you guys approved, and this was a spreadsheet of current vendors for $720,000 for fiscal year 9 and 10. You did it in July of 2009 before the election. And then after that, you did it again in this item for some more vendors, so it would be maybe spread out, I don't know, for another $250,000 for different parts and services. And then next on that same agenda, you did materials for Heritage Park, removal of tree stumps, and here's miscellaneous road concrete cutting was a separate item, and it was the same company, Giamonco or whatever. And so these were previously, like you were explaining, approved in bulk, and now they've been broken out here today. And they were done and approved in July of '09, previous to the election. So, but now we see it in much more detail.
And to Councilman's point though, I mean, I know we've talked about that in the past, that we discussed, you know, carryover, this is fiscal year spending, so, you know, obviously coming in, whatever that might be, transition, you're gonna have, you know, March, April, May of the season, we talk about concrete, before you're basically outbid or approving the cycle through the end of the fiscal year, so, I mean, they can all, you know, they look at it, or split in half, you know, first half and the second half of the season, and Delo too.
Yeah, this provides, in the fuel, according to the contract, it provides one contract period extension, which is identified as 12 months, so and of course it is essentially, I mean, it's for basically a renewal, but an extension of that same time frame, so. That sounds good.
This is concrete cutting.
Same thing?
So it's like the standard.
So then at the end of this, then there will be no more extensions allotted, it'll just have to be rebid.
Okay. And as he says, so as every department calls and requests to do something, Josh or Cindy, I think mostly Josh on these, is pulling up the files, is looking at the file and saying, okay, this has an extension, go forward extension, this doesn't need to go back out to bid. And complete that process. So we're first things communicating that information back to the department.
Thank you.
So, concrete saw cutting, anything on that then? We're all set? Same thing? And, these
That was on the
items-
list, are you saying that was
Yeah.
on the list?
Well, concrete saw cutting previously in the previous administration was done in July also as a separate item. These other ones were all like bulked together, not to exceed 720,000 and not to exceed 250,000. So these are all broken out here.
Campaign year, we should put a stipulation, no cutting until after 9 o'clock. So,
They cut on your street.
yeah, no, they did mine a few years ago, but, that alienates people, so.
Okay, so, we're gonna go on here to pavement marking. Do you guys wanna go through each one of these individually? Do you have a
What is-
specific question on any of them? Because
Are
we
we
have a
on number
shortened,
12?
study? Yeah, well, 12 is the asphalt product.
Yeah, I find 12 interesting. There's no bid, but there's 10 pages of verbiage here. Does anybody know if there's a reason for providing this invitation to bid, but no bids, and frankly,
Well, this
it goes back to 2012.
Yeah, that's the original, because this is another extension. I don't have that, no, so I don't know what that is.
Just so you know, they're paving, and it's the coal patch material.
I understand that. The question is relevant to the package that was provided for this. And, you know, most of these, are just the cover sheet. And, then this one has has the bid procedure, the bid package, but no bids attached to it.
Do you get that? Is that fair?
So that would have gone back to July also of 12, right?
Yeah, the date that June 12th, 2012.
June 12th?